5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Watch me. Level up, 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 level up.
I'm Mbali. I'm a wine producer and founder of Ngiyi Mbali Brands.
All this on me so yummy, all this sauce so yummy. No, you want this yummy, yummy all in your tummy.
Now, part of my primary brands are Ngiyi Mbali Wines and Ngiyi Mbali Funeral Plan. And I'm very proud to say that both brands are in a very white, male-dominated industry in South Africa. Now, women's worth is about the 4 C's. We celebrate, we connect, we collaborate, and we create. And I believe that if we as African women entrepreneurs should practice these 4 C's, we would easily claim our rightful and extremely deserving space in the African business space.
Level up, 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 level up.
Sipping on your very awesome Ngiyi Mbali wines. But yeah, thanks. No supply. Lockdown situations, no wine.
Hey, we have to be law-abiding citizens.
Okay, so thank you to everyone that's checking in, dialing in.
All this on me so yummy, all this sauce so yummy. No, you want this yummy, yummy all in your tummy.
I am Mbali, and I am the founder of Ngiyi Mbali Brands.
Them more mistakes are gone, I won't do them no more. That's old news, there's new news, I done did that before. I turn nothing to something, my comeback on 100. Let's talk it, more action, you just gon' see coming. I just keep elevating, no losses, just upgrading. My lessons made blessings, I turn that into money. They gotta never settle, this view is so much better. I'm chilling, I'm winning, like on another level. Oh, you can talk all you want, see me as I pray.
So the purpose of this connect is really about a woman's worth and the 4 C's, which is to celebrate you, obviously a great connect session, have conversations around how you collaborate, and of course, your beautiful creations for your brand. So let's have a good begin to that. So everybody kind of knows who we're with. Hey, check out the brand right there. Love it. I want one of those teas, by the way.
I'm always in uniform. I think you see me posting. I'm always in uniform. I mean, you gotta represent your own, hey?
I know. I've seen it. I love it. I love the brand. So tell us about Mbali. Who's Mbali?
Okay, I'm Mbali. You know, I'm a wine producer and founder of Ngiyi Mbali Brands. And Ngiyi Mbali Brands primarily consists of 2 brands, which are okay. I've got other brands, but these are my core brands, my primary brand, and it is Ngiyi Mbali Wine and Ngiyi Mbali Funeral.
Yeah.
And Ngiyi Mbali Wine was actually founded in 2013. You know, but it's actually a crazy story. You know, in both industries, I must say that I have no formal education in both of them. You know, I've never started winemaking, and including I've never started marketing, but I've never started anything has to do with funeral, but I'm in those industries.
So maybe let's take
the wine.
Yeah, so maybe before we actually go into the actual brands, what did you do before? What's always been your passion? What have you always been involved in before you actually started your brands?
What happened is I started working in insurance. I was very young. I did a bit of modeling here and there, but in 2007, I started in the insurance industry, and I worked for one of the biggest legal insurance companies in SA.
Yeah.
You know, and I grew myself in the career. You know, I mean, without having any formal marketing or sales education, I found myself becoming the first Black female under 35 as a national sales manager for one of the biggest legal insurance companies in SA.
Yeah.
You know, and and so, but however, in 2013, I tasted a bottle of wine that I loved.
Yeah.
You know, and I decided to contact the maker of that wine and said, you know what, I've always wanted to do wine, and I'd like you to mentor me into making wine.
Okay.
And he rejected me. I mean, a girl from Soweto, born in Soweto, is like, no ways. But so I decided, okay, you know what? I travel a lot with my job. So I decided when I was in the Cape, I drove over to the vineyard and I was like, listen, I'm Mbali and I'm here for my mentorship.
Wait, so
And it's like
you got
crazy, you know,
you left Johannesburg, got on a plane. Did you make an appointment or
yeah,
any? Okay, so you made an appointment with the
no,
guy. You just got on a plane.
I, I just got on a plane. I arrived at the vineyard unannounced and uninvited,
And you said
you
what?
know. So I checked it out where it is. And I said, I'm Mbali and I'm here for my mentorship. And he was and he was not happy.
What is his
And
like?
I
What
knew
was
I
his
had already
reaction? What did he
expected him.
say? What did he say when you said that to him?
He was like, are you out of your mind? And he's like, he actually threatened to call the cops on me.
Yeah.
He said he was going to have me arrested for trespassing,
Yeah.
you know. And I said, you know what? I suggest we talk about it over a glass of wine. You know, I'm sure you have a whole lot of wine. Let's talk about it over a glass of wine. And I said, I'm genuinely not gonna leave until you give me this mentorship. Why don't you want to give it to me? You know, I couldn't understand why he didn't want to give it to me. You
Yeah.
know, and I
Yeah.
thought, you know what? No, I'm not gonna leave. You know, so
So
he agreed
you
to
did
a
what?
glass
You
of
sat
wine.
down. What was the setting? Like, where is this now? Like, describe the scenario. Like, we want to be in there that moment with you. So, owner of this wine farm is standing there, is looking at you. You are standing where, and then you say, "Let's have wine." Are you sitting? What's going on?
You know what was the craziest part? His main gate is a bit quite far from his actually the main house.
Yeah.
You know,
And when you're
so
rocking
I
heels,
got
because I
there
know you like
and
to
I
rock
saw,
your heels.
okay, this is the right place. And fortunately for me, the gate was not locked, so I drove in. You know, and you could see that this car coming in. And he was wondering who the hell is this person. And he got out of the house, out of his patio from the back,
Yeah.
and I got out of the car.
Mm.
He said, "Hi, Rob," and he said, "Hi, Mbali." And I said, I said hi, and I said, "I'm Mbali, and I'm here for my mentorship." That was my first line. I said, "I'm Mbali, and I'm here for my mentorship," because I had spoken to him so many times. So when I said I'm Mbali, he knew who I was, you know.
Mm.
And he was like, "But I didn't agree to that." I'm
Mm.
like, "I know, you know." And he's like, "But then what are you doing here?" I'm like, "Because I'm here for it. And you know what? I'm not gonna leave until you give me one, because I do not understand why you will not give it to me."
Okay.
You know? And he was like, "You're out of your mind." I'm like, "No, I'm not." He's like, "You know what? I'm gonna call the cops and have you arrested for trespassing." And I was like, "I don't think you need to do that. You know, I think we are both adults. We are civilized human beings. Obviously, what harm can I bring? I mean, he's a big white guy. I mean, I'm just 90, 1.6 meters high." I'm like, "Just maybe sit. Let's sit and have a glass of wine. I'm sure you have a whole lot of wine. And
Mm.
I know your wines are good. And that's why I'm here. And I want you to mentor me." And it's like, "Okay, fine." Like, because you could see for like, hey, this Zulu girl is not going anywhere, you know.
Awesome.
And we came, we sat down on the patio, and he opened up a bottle of wine,
Yeah.
and we had a glass. And I'll be honest, by the end of the day, we had 3 bottles of wine,
Yeah.
because later his wife joined us actually. His wife came in, and now imagine you're a wife and you're coming home, and your husband is sitting with some black girl on the patio, and they're laughing and having wine. And it's like, okay, what's going on here? And he said to her, "It's that crazy Mbali chick from Joburg." You know? And she was like, "Yeah." It's like, "Yeah, you know what?" And he had not even told me that he was willing to mentor me. He had changed his mind about it, you know.
Mm.
But I knew about it when he told his wife, you know. He's like, "Yeah, you know what? It's that Mbali chick that has been bothering me about the mentoring. Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna give it to her. We'll give it a shot." And I was like, "Oh, so you know, one can make you do things."
So tell
So that's
me,
how I
I
actually got
mean,
to know that he is actually agreed.
from the time that you tasted his wine to the time that you decided you wanted to have your own wine
Yes,
and to be mentored to making wine, what was the period? And did you
yes.
do research? Did you think about it? Did you research? What did you do before you contacted him? Or did you just decide this tastes good and I just want to be mentored? What was the period between you deciding his wine was good and you wanted to be mentored and have your own wine?
Okay, you know what, Lee? It was not his wine that made me wanna produce wine.
Okay.
You know,
Mm.
I've always to do it. I'm a December baby.
Mm-hmm.
So the year that I turned 18, and my second father, I don't call him my stepdad because he's my second father. I always have got two dads.
You're right. Yeah.
So he always bought a bottle of wine home every year and give from his work.
Mm-hmm.
And the bottle of wine just basically sit there until someone loves wine visits our home, you know.
Yeah.
So this one particular year, I was turning 18. I turned 18 on the 27th of December. Yeah, it's my birthday. So on the 29th, I said to my mom, can I have some wine? And my mom looked at me, she's like, are you crazy? No. And I'm like, technically I can. I can have wine. I'm 18. And so my dad walked in as we were having this conversation, and my mom is a non-drinker, and you know she doesn't do alcohol at all. And
Yeah.
he said, "Oh, just let her have some, you know." And I didn't know how to open up a bottle. We didn't even have a corkscrew, like a bottle wine or wine open at home. So I basically used like the cooking stick and a shoe, and I bashed that cork until it went inside the bottle. And I had the glass, and I was like, "What is the fuss? You know, what is the fuss about this thing? It takes care. It's terrible." But what I did throughout, like the last bit of my holidays, is every time we had something, you know, my mom cooked something or I cooked something, I would have a bit of wine and I would eat it with it, you know. And every time it tasted different. You know, I even tried putting it some food in, like some fruit salad, and put a bit of wine. Okay, I threw up that day, but that was,
Okay.
and maybe I was like, maybe the science student in me kicked in or something. But that's when I found, I'm like, I like the way it always changed depending on what I was having,
Yeah.
and that was my love. That's when my love for wine started. I actually said to mom, I'm gonna actually produce my own one day, and she laughed at me, you know, and and every time I made a bit of money, you know, I would buy a bottle of wine and I would sample it, and I would sample it with food, and you know, I did that for a very long time. But however, in 2013, when I had this particular bottle, I was
Mm.
like, I am in love with this, you know. So I researched about him, and I read his story as well, and about how the vines were deserted, and he went back and started making wine again. It was a third generation winemaker, and I loved who he was as well, you know.
Mm.
So and
Mm-hmm.
that's why I actually wanted him in particular to teach me, because I could relate with him. I felt that our principles, our, you know, we were on the same page somehow,
Yeah.
and that's why I wanted him to teach me. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, that's amazing. That's
So that's
incredible. So that's how that started. So take us through the
yes.
mentoring. How long did it take from you being mentored to actually conceptualizing what your brand, what you wanted it to look like, and to the first time that you actually had your first barrel and then bottled into wine? What was that like? What was the journey like to that?
It was amazing. We mentored it from, it was around when I went down to the Cape. I think it was around Jan, Feb, 2013. And every time I would go down to the Cape and would spend about a week, you know. And I was very fortunate that it was at a time where it was harvest time. You know,
Yeah.
it was just you have harvest, you know. The Shiraz, and which actually named after my mom, despite the fact she actually has never tasted this. It's got a wine named after her that she never even. It was a covered Capsef blend. My Shiraz is actually called Shoki Shiraz,
Mm.
and I've got, it was my Capsef blend called Sebata
Yes.
and Tribe. You know, and Sebata is a dangerous animal. And when I had that wine, you know, it choked me a bit. I was like, you know, and I thought, okay, where does a lion, where does a lion go for? It goes for the neck, you know. And I thought, hey, and Kamo, it's from the lion tribe, Anatau. Okay, I'm going with Sebata, dedication to our tribe, my mom's baby tribe. And I also have Mino, you know. I had not decided on Mino when it came out, you know, on the name. So I bought like a box back after I'd produced it, and I invited a couple of my friends. And the strangest thing about that wine was all my friends that love dry and all my friends that love sweet both like that wine, you know,
Mm.
which was strange. I mean, I've got a cousin that said, when if she drinks red wine, she'd actually put sugar in it, but she could drink that wine so easy, you know? And I thought, okay, this is uniting two very, very, very different palettes. And what does music do? So Mino means music in Setswana. So I call that Mino. So even with my wines, I'm a very decisive person, but I also so I already knew how I wanted my brand to look like, and I already knew how I wanted to take it out there, and I knew that I wanted to personalize it a lot, So that's when I decided on Mino, and I was like, okay, you know what? Based on what everybody's having and what I'm seeing from the people that are having, I'm gonna call it Mino, because that's what music unites. You can go anywhere in the country, anywhere on earth, and you listen to a song, you don't know what it's saying, but you love it, So yeah, that's what I thought.
Wow. So look,
And
the industry
in
is highly dominated, it's a male dominated industry, and very rare for a young black female South African that ventures in there. What were some of your challenges in this
it is.
journey of you launching? What are some of the things that you encountered as challenges to producing your own wine?
There are a lot of still have. It's a whole lot better now, because even though I started producing the wine in 2013, I only started promoting it in 2017. And my biggest challenge, which I find annoying, quite under my, I've had activations where people will be like, it's like somehow people battle to understand that a black woman can actually become a producer of her own brand, So for the longest time, people actually thought I was just a front, that there was some white man that was backing me. Yes, he was backing me in terms of mentorship, but I built this brand myself. When I started, I maxed out my credit card. I took up my savings. I've got tons, and I invested it in the business,
Wow. Yeah.
Eventually, I actually quit my very good job to invest in the invested. I quit a very good job to invest again in the business. So for someone to come across and look at me in the face and say, "I don't think it's a wine label," and using it, so that I find it very frustrating. And secondly, is what's sad is sometimes when the stereotype, like the negativity that you get, you
Yeah.
don't always get it. You like sometimes our own people,
Mm, mm,
For example, I did an exhibition and I was standing, I was actually with my younger brother, and this black couple comes through
mm.
and they walk right past us and they go to a more established white-owned brand. And now a white family, it's a family of the husband, wife, and 2 kids. And immediately they look at this Ngiyi wine that they cannot even read. And they're like, okay, what is this? And I explained to them. And they taste the wine, you know? And the guy actually just loves it. And he says, you know what? I'd like to have 6 of each. I had 4 brands then. And now this black couple that has just walked past hears this white guy saying that he loves this wine. And he suddenly decides that he wants to come back, you know? And now you could read Ngiyi Mbali. You could see it was a black brand, but you just couldn't you just didn't give me the time. And now that somebody, so it's actually sad that even I think it was in 2018, we still have issues where people need to validate us as people for us to take ourselves seriously. So those are some, yeah.
Wow, yeah, so I can imagine. And now that your wine is out, how's that doing? So you said 2017 is when you really started marketing it. So from 2017 to now, what's been the
Yes.
response to your brand and the wines that you've put out?
People that have them and objectively, like they love them. 90% of my clients were white and 10% were black, and in terms of race and in terms of gender, as male. And I think I wondered with men, is it because they did not take me seriously as a brand? And there have been guys that have actually admitted it and said, you know what, I saw your brand and I thought a woman can make wine. And later on as I get to enjoy it. And they say, oh, you know what, you actually did a good job here, you know? So it's picking up. It's picking up very well. There's been a lot of challenges. I mean, I've invested over $1 million into this business, and I still have not made a cent from it. You know, I've
Wow.
actually been ripped off a lot. I've had situations where people would. I remember this one guy sent me wines. I gave him wines worth 18,000 and on discount, and actually sent me a fake proof of payment, and I lost that. So it's been a challenge, but it's actually exciting. You know, I always take it as it's lessons learned. I've learned a lot, and and as much as I'm still growing as a brand, what I'm actually doing now is I've realized that so many other young Black people want to get into the wine industry, you know, and it's not an easy industry to tap into. And I'm saying, okay, instead of you trying to build a brand and going about it in a very wrong way. I mean, I met this girl once, and she wanted to build a brand, you know,
Yeah.
a wine brand, and what she was actually doing is that she would take she would buy very cheap wine, horrible wine, you know, and I'm not gonna say cheap, but let me say rather horrible, bad wine, because affordable wine can be good. And she would like basically remove the label and just put her label on the wine,
Hey,
you know,
Bana.
and a very horrible looking label. I'm telling you. And when I saw that, I could have been upset, you
Yeah.
know, but I saw it as a desperate measure. I'm like, you know what? She is so desperate to have her own wine range that she would actually go. First of all, it's illegal. She can get in a whole lot of trouble for doing that. And
Right.
secondly, it's giving us Black wine producers and Black wine labels a very,
A bad
very bad
name.
name. I mean, the people are looking at it and go, what are these Black people telling me? So what I'm doing now, and I'm saying, you know what, clearly there's a need, you know, and
Yeah.
I'm working with a few. I'm actually in the process of creating some Black labels. You know, I've got Nkonti that we've got Black metal. So I've won some Black people that I know that curious about this, and I'm creating labels for them. You know, I've got Tato. I think she's a very brilliant businesswoman. So what I'm doing, I'm creating wine labels for my fellow young Black people that are passionate about winemaking. And eventually, when I can, I'd like to have an academy. I'm actually teaching our Black people how to actually produce. So
I'll
then
sign
they're not
up.
just labels; they actually produce now.
Do we get to taste? I'll sign up. Do we get to taste while you're
Yeah.
teaching?
No, you get to have a lot of taste. You
I'm
get to have
coming.
a whole lot of taste. You're more than welcome to come through. So I'm hoping that'll probably be my 2021 project. Yeah.
So Bali, I mean, I'm gonna get back to the wine element, but at this point I want to go. I like the fact that you said I don't give up, and I go after what I want, and I fix my head in the game. Something you also did is you didn't stop there. Ngiyi Mbali Brands has also got in funeral plans now. Tell us a bit about the funeral plans and how that works and how you came about that.
Okay. And yeah, I was in the insurance business, you know, for a very long time. And in 2018, I decided, you know what, Ngiyi Mbali now needs my undivided attention. You know, it's my own. I had grown, I had a very good job, I was very happy. But I decided, you know what, it's not working for me anymore. I need to focus on Ngiyi Mbali Wines.
Hmm.
And in a few months, I realized that I made because I lost family members that I was very fond of, you know, and I lost my aunt in January 2019, and in May, I lost my grand. Yes, I was in the insurance industry and I was more in the marketing and sales side, but I can tell you one, for example, because everyone else still has their job. And family it happens that okay, when I say Benzi,
Hmm.
uh, I'm the default one to be in the center of the whole funeral, because everybody else, you know.
Hmm.
So I was right in the middle of calls, always at home. And got my grandma's funeral. By the end, are we back on?
We can still see
By
you.
the
We
end
can
of the
hear you.
funeral, I had spent over me. But when I'm saying that my granny's funeral, I had spent over 800 rands worth of airtime, you know, and
Wow.
that is money that could have gone elsewhere. You know,
Right.
it could have gone elsewhere. That's one. And I started working about, let's say, 15 years ago. My granny was already 75 when I
Yeah.
started working. So the plan that would cover her at that age, you know, I based on my clearly not responding.
You're freezing just a little bit, but I can still hear your feed. It's just a bit of a delayed one. But yeah, we can hear you
Yeah,
if you continue. So your granny was
yeah.
75 when you started working.
Yes, my granny was 75 when I started working, and I struggled to get a cover, you know. So I thought, okay, but why, you know? And I thought, and then I looked around, and I'm like, okay, there are companies that are actually providing time when one has had a loss,
Yeah.
but what is actually currently offered in the market, it's not enough, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And what bothered me the most is that, let's just be honest, you know, us Black people spend a lot on funerals.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you take a Black funeral, compared to a white funeral, compared to a colored funeral, we spend a lot. So meaning a lot of Black people actually need funeral plans, and they would have funeral plans, you know, but they're having funeral plans that's really not giving them what they actually need, you know, because why am I getting 300 if I know I'm actually gonna use 800 worth of airtime? So I started like, I thought I had left the insurance industry entirely, but this just said, no, man, let me check this thing out.
Right.
And I realized that, you know what, as a funeral plan, you will be able to provide what is actually needed, you know,
Yeah.
at a very reasonable price. You know, I'm an advocate of people should not than they actually should, you know, and what as my fellow Black people that they pay more than they should, they're not getting the benefits that are actually very relevant to them. I mean, when someone passes away, your aunt passes away, you wanna everybody's gonna look and say, let's chip in. How much are we chipping in? You know? But if now I am not able to cover this old auntie of mine, it's a problem because you know things happen when you least expect.
Right.
So that's what actually came across Ngiyi Mbali Funeral. I wanted to create a brand that everyone can actually afford. My rates are very affordable and have free added benefits, very unique. I'll give you my granny had to be buried in Polokwane, you know, and most undertakers, yes, they will transport the body, but up to a certain radius, you know. And it was actually an extra cost that needed to pay to get her body to Polokwane. And when I did my research, I realized, well, you know what, I can actually add this as a free added benefit. And so I wanted to create a unique people and that still is an affordable premium.
Right.
And that was the birth of Ngiyi Mbali Funeral Plan.
Wow. And what is, I mean, you're in such difficult business arenas, wine itself with its own challenges there. Funeral plans as well, also very male dominated industry. So you're challenging the
Yes.
status quo in
It's
a
really
big
never
way.
deliberate. People always ask me like, what's with you and white male dominated industries? I'm like, I don't know. You know, I think it's where my passion is. I mean, if you look at the path, I started in insurance, assistant manager, you know, and in 10 years that I was there, I found myself becoming an NSM and
What's an
with no
NSM?
formal education. So it's kind of like
National Sales
a national
Manager.
sales manager.
Got it. Okay.
Yes, the first Black female under 35. I keep saying, I like saying that. But you see, it's not a part that it just happened by default that I get to find myself passionate about industries that are white male dominated, and I'm happy to be in those industries. I'm really happy about what I do.
So, what are the challenges, more funeral plan? What are some of the things that you're facing as a female convincing or being taken seriously? I mean, you say that are there similar challenges that you're facing that you faced in the wine industry? And does that make it easier that you faced some of those challenges dealing with the challenges that you're facing now?
Oh, okay, okay, Mr. Hi to my brother. Okay, yeah. It's fairly new, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and the insurance industry. This industry is people have lost trust. And when I was studying, I obviously did research and I spoke to a lot of people, and then I'd ask people like, "Do you have a funeral plan?" And people would say no, you know,
Mm.
and I would be like, "Why?" And they'd say that because there was a time that I needed to claim, and I was told I would get 10% or so much percent of what I actually was supposed to get, or my premium was not paid based on this. So people have kind of lost hope in the insurance industry, in the industry itself.
Yeah.
And so those are some of the challenges. And now you are coming in as a new kid in the block, and you're coming into a space that where there's a lot of trust issues. So that's where the problem is.
Mm.
But I mean, I always say I put my name on it, and you can trust me. And the only thing I can do is build up my database and and trust. That's all I can do. But I know the industry. I know it well, and I'm confident that Ngiyi Mbali Funeral is going to be a success. I'm confident about that.
So, what does the package include? Like, run me through just like the basic structure of what one of your funeral. Do you have lots of options? Do you have one particular option? What does it entail? What does the funeral plan offer?
Okay. Everything is based on how much your which premium you choose to pay and what your age is. However, what's standard across the board is that the free added benefits that you get. For example, we give 1,000 rands worth of airtime when you claim. Because like I've said, I think that is what that's a relevant amount.
Mm.
Secondly, we transport the body to everywhere within the South African borders for free when you claim. So
Oh,
those are some
wow.
of our free added benefits. And yeah, so within the South African borders, we transport the body for free. We give you 1,000 rands worth of airtime. Our most affordable premium is 50 rand. And that's one thing. We're very honest about it. What you see is what you pay for. I'm not gonna say premium is 50 rand. However, if you want to do a family cover, this is how much you pay. All our premiums our covers are family covers, and the most affordable one is 50 rand for 5,000 rands worth of cover, and it goes up to the most expensive for a certain age for under 65 is 195 rand for 30,000 rands worth of cover.
Oh, wow.
And we also have an option where it's actually quite affordable, and considering it has those extra added benefits. I
Mm.
mean, we even have an HIV benefit. If you are our client and you let's say unfortunately, let's say for example, you find out that you are HIV positive, you know, and in most cases with your government, with our health system, you're probably going to be told wait for a month before you can get your ARVs or something like that. If you are our client, you have a policy with us, and you find out that you're HIV positive, we give you a 1 month subscription of ARVs for free. While you're waiting for yourself to be registered, instead of saying, what, I need to wait a month to get my ARVs, we can provide that for you.
Right.
We also have, yeah, we have a 24/7 call center as well, where, let's say, for example, you were raped, like, if you need like a psychologist, someone to talk to, we also have provide that as well,
Is
all
that is
in the
that
premium
and
that you're
that's
paying.
so seeing a psychologist is also a free added benefit?
Yes,
Oh,
it's a
wow.
free added benefit. And
Mm.
that's what I'm saying, that what I think this can be provided, you know, and people can, premiums can be more affordable, and policies can offer more. That's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm trying to do here. Yes, someone was like, are you gonna make any money at all? But I would rather make a cent and provide a whole lot of service and worry about growing my database, but make a whole lot of money and grieve less than what a person is actually paying for. You know, I don't believe in people paying more than what they need to. You know, and it's a principle that I have in both brands. You know, my wines are quite affordable for the quality that they are, simply because I want a person that has a whole lot of money to say, okay, you know what, I'll buy a box, you know, and a person that doesn't have a lot of money but wants to have a good quality wine to be able to afford it as well, you know. So that's what I'm saying. I'm a huge advocate of people not paying more than they should, you know, and that's what I'm doing with both brands.
Say